Hello, thank you for coming back to listen to my very uneducated tea videos. This one is a white peony from Path of Cha, and what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna drink it, and I'm gonna tell you what's up with it. There is a little bit of a good description, that I would like to mention before I even start with it. I printed it out, and it will be a good thing to see what they say. As far as I can say before even looking at the thing is that this one is out of several moonlights I have, or bimudans or white peonies. This one is from Yunnan. They say that is from a gentleman called Mr. Jan. Mr. Yang plants the trees, or the tea plants are from seed, not clones, and they describe their buds to be, white hairy buds, amongst the leaves. And I think that my mudan, it's at the level of one bud, two leaves, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, correct me. But I believe so. So it's like a in between Xiao Mei and Silver Needle. So I think Bai Mudan is right there. Um, I also know that it's from Wulian Mountain, Wulian in Yunnan. He just walked by and he's gonna drink tea, but he doesn't know any of the stuff that I already said. So we're gonna put this just boiled water, what I call calm, just boiled calm water. He just smell the dry leaves. How was that for you?
It smells kind of like a hay bale.
It does totally smell like a hay bale. You're right. I agree with that. It's a little like a that sweet hay.
It's not like the bad hay bale. You
It's no
think,
bad hay bale.
you
Let me
know,
tell you.
I'm not thinking of like
Like,
fresh out of the fresh pooped hay
you know
bale.
what? Hay bales smell bad when they're being wet and they're like moldy.
Exactly.
This
I'm talking
doesn't.
about
Like a fresh cut.
freshly made, freshly pooped out by the machine. That kind of hay bale. Freshly rolled. So, what it smells like.
I
I
did
already.
break up this cake. Oh, now you know what's a cake. I just I just narrowed down everything. Um, I opened it up because it was pretty compressed. But we have a lot of cakes here, so you have no idea what it is.
Yeah,
And
but we have a lot of cakes that I know what most of them are, I think. So,
well, what would be something that will guide you to know?
the color of the leaves before you put tea on them and how it was processed. By the looks of it, it does not look like it's a heicha or a hongcha
It
at
does not.
all. It does not look like that. It does not look like a green tea to me either. And it doesn't look like a white tea. But I I am now gonna have to try it first before I guess in between white tea and oolong. That's what I think it is. Either or. But we'll
It
see.
has that. It has that um, hay bale very present there, and but sweet like milk. So honey,
Milky hay bale.
milky hay bale.
If they made hay bales into cereal and put it in milk,
And somehow it has everything has to. It actually like it's in context, with the cows and the milk and. What do you think it is based on that rinse?
it is a white tea.
Okay.
I mean, it has that same milky flavor as when we were comparing white teas.
Mm-hmm.
the blue willow and West China white teas,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also guessed correctly with those. It has a similar flavor.
Okay.
Those did. I don't think it's one of those. I don't think I can guess exactly the tea.
You don't think it's one of those?
It could it. I think I need to actually try the tea itself after a while, a few steeps, and
Yeah,
then
this is just the rinse. So, and now that you can see the leaves, I can show you kind of how a little bit of the leaves are here on the lid.
that has a very distinct taste from what the dry leaves smell like now.
The what?
The dry leaves, it smells different. It doesn't smell like hay.
No, it's a little bit more like honeysuckle. The grassy. I mean, like dry grass, hay smells gone. It does a little bit remind me of Fushuan, like a young Fushuan.
The under the tongue taste is kind of like after eating some kale chips.
So I'm not gonna put a lot of temperature on this, and I'm gonna do a quick steep. See if we can get one of those subtle notes out. If we do um, deeper steep, meaning like more temperature and more aggressive, more temperature, more time, we will probably just get a lot more of those astringent, more like herbaceous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is your microphone on?
Yes.
Cool. Herbaceous tones. That initial hey, either I have become accustomed or it has gone away. Oh yeah, you're the counterman.
Ow.
Hot?
Yeah.
Use some of the air coming into your mouth. You don't have to make it sound. You you can just use some air. Yes, that kind of milky, slightly floral honeysuckle, but it's still very herbaceous. And it's still, I think I still perceive that hay slightly astringent, although the temperature is quite low. What do you think? You want the Wheel of Fortune? Look at it.
Um,
Wheel of Aromas, I mean. Wheel of Aromas.
aroma wheel.
Yeah.
The thingy with the thingies on it.
Do you want the thingy with the thingies?
Sure. It does very much remind me of kale chips.
Kale chips.
Kale chips.
But the ones that are,
Like that dry taste of kale. Like when you dry it, you eat it. It's dry. It's like that under the tongue taste of you just ate some dry kale.
yeah. So you're saying it's a white tea and it's got that,
I don't.
and it's got that,
Is it an oolong? I don't think so because it doesn't have the same like explosion of floral stuff.
the thing that oolong, um, yeah, you know, it's a good way of looking at it oolong, the one that you are describing.
Like someone threw a grenade of flowers and sparkles and confetti.
Did
Yes,
you finish your tea?
I did not.
This will be second steep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the counter's going. So the water will be just when it starts going boiling. I'm gonna turn it off and then I'm gonna let it calm down. We'll see that changes a little bit things. I think that regardless of what's going on, the temperature is a little bit too high. And one thing that I've realized with these kinds of teas, which I'm not gonna tell you what kind of tea it is,
I was like, please say it, please say it.
is that sometimes just letting the brew cool down changes a lot of things. So it's like almost like you want to steep it at a higher temperature, but not serve it immediately. Just let it calm down on your grande to open up different flavors. So just letting it cool down from this one you just drunk to what you're gonna experience now. Put a little bit more air in there. That's gonna change it. So this should be a little different by the second one. You may feel a little bit more of a floral thing there. No? Same shit?
No, it does taste a little different.
So the temperature changes the way you perceive it.
I don't think it's a white tea anymore.
You don't think it's a white tea anymore?
Because the white teas that we had, this is the last memory of white tea that I have. I don't have white tea that often, so those were the only two I've had for probably more than a year.
Mm.
Um,
You've had like old cave aged, like 25-year-old white tea before that, and it's just a completely different beast.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that this is some kind of oolong, but I don't want to be too sure about that, so I think I'm gonna wait a little bit longer because
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't want to guess incorrectly.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep you in suspense only a little bit longer. This needs to boil,
There's green
but
teas. I remember that the leaves, when you pour the water in there, especially if it's one of those gong bays that are more like that were originally used for serving wine. You know what I'm talking about?
I think it's called shahu or something.
The
Yeah.
tall ones, the tall
Mhm.
gong bays. When you pour it in there, or well, if you, I'm trying to think of where you would put it, but when you put the tea in there, if you put the tea in there and you pour the water in there, the um, leaves will float to the top, and that's
And then they
and they
start falling
and they would
down.
have buds and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
So
what I remember. Like if you put it in a glass, I want a glass anything. Remember that the leaves would float to the top, and they would have buds, and then there would be some at the bottom,
mhm.
which doesn't seem to be the case with that tea, because I don't see many buds. I don't see many buds.
After 3 steeps, what does that smell like? Does that smell like an oolong, like a white tea, or something else?
It smells like an oolong.
It does?
I think so. I don't think it's dong dang. Definitely not.
No, no. Well, the color is not won't be amber or yellow.
I mean,
So
just
now this is starting to sound. So the bubbling will start, and that will be just boiling, and then I'll calm it down, and we'll see if after more um, conservative brew, meaning like less temperature
mhm.
and less temperature and less time, you will perceive some notes that will tell you otherwise. So
Mhm.
you're only the second steep, But the first thing you said was white, and now you're saying it's a oolong.
By process of elimination, obviously it's not a red tea or a black tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a yellow tea because you don't have any of those. It's not a purple tea.
Yeah.
You don't have any of those.
Do I have any oolong that comes in a cake?
I don't think so. I mean,
Have you ever heard of an oolong that comes in a cake?
no. So I mean, it has to be a white tea. I don't think it's a baimudon.
I just gave you a big one, right? That was a
Yeah,
big.
but it's not. It's not the West China baimudon. It's not the Blue Willow one. I don't think
Okay,
because we just made a video on that, so you wouldn't use that.
that's why not because you won't recognize it. So now the bubbles are there, and I turn it off. And calm water means that when I move it to the resting position, the waves inside of the kettle are gonna calm down to even Steven, right? So crazy water is just boiling, and you go here and go blah blah blah, and you've seen how it
Crazy
actually
Stacy, even Steven.
Crazy Stacy, the bubbles are even in the guy one. It bubbles up the tea and whatever. Especially with black tea, it makes like foam. But calm water, like now, you see there's no waves inside. It calm down.
Yeah.
So just boil calm water, and then the other way I do it is full boil. Calm or crazy. So it could be, how can I call it?
Hmm?
You know, just Steven or full Steven, and just Stacy, or what is Stacy? Crazy?
Crazy Stacy.
Crazy.
What are you doing? You pour the tea in there?
I know. It's gonna, he's drinking like, oh Jesus. I burned my hand. Okay. I just poured some of the tea right on my hand. Well, that's pretty hot, So,
I'm gonna be careful when I drink it. But
well, what I'm saying is that even if it just what I call it, just Steven, because I said even Steven, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so just Steven. Even if I do a just Steven, it would be um very hot. Anyways, it hurt. So it was pretty hot water.
So this tea does not taste, especially with the rinse, at all like the versus teas that we did for that video. Those teas does not taste like those at all.
Yeah, it has a. I mean, it's not a bad flavor, but it has a little hint to the smell of those like fish foods, like that are in flakes. Aquarium fish food. They are in. Don't talking about the little like the little jars, of food, and you like grab it, and then the fish are like,
Yeah, I guess.
or like potato chips.
Well,
Like
a friend gave me some potato chips the other day, and I can say that this tea does not smell or taste like potato chips.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying with the flaky fish food.
Yeah. But overall, it's all coming on top of that. What is it called? Hay bale,
Yeah.
fresh hay bale, like recently harvested dry hay.
But I have to know, what white teas do you have besides the two that I know of?
Path of Cha, white peony, uh, stone leaf, Nepal, Junchiyabari, Shomei. Um, and I have a couple of like bootlegs that are horrible, like this thing that we could play frisbee with if you want. Just try to, if the dog's, you know, done breaking his own frisbee, we can just throw this thing. It was like $17. I don't even know what it is. Oh yeah, this is silver needle. My cake, whole cake of silver, and there was a bunch of buds there, but who knows? I mean, it was bad. It was like it tasted like stevia or something. I don't know. Maybe I was having a bad day, and it's just because it's cheap.
It's like I'm not even gonna play the teas. Get the fuck out of here.
I just left it there. But you know what it's good for? Because sometimes I want to display other wrappers.
Mm-hmm.
That is the same size as any other cake, so I can wrap it with a nice wrap, and the cake's gonna be there. No one cares if that tea goes bad, by being exposed to the element. Oh, so this, how long was this steep?
I would say like a minute now. I didn't even know there was tea in there. Looks fine though. Looks like a golden color for sure.
It's a beautiful clear brew, and in terms of buds, because they are talking about some hairy buds.
Harry Terry.
Yeah, some hairy buds over the leaves. So I see like one or two there, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe one in the whole gang the way. See if you find any buds that's hot. I don't know.
Can I have
The pokey pokey.
pokey?
Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit more of a bread taste to it.
Can't tell if these are buds or leaves. So I'm looking for like a hairy bod. I don't see one.
That's a bud. Those are buds. Maybe low quality, but those are buds.
They're supposed to be hairy?
Yeah, it look like this. Paul. Here. Those are buds.
Yeah, I see some then.
Yeah.
But they do not look hairy if that's what they're supposed to look like.
Bit of popcorn. But it's just like, okay, so I almost want to open up a Fushuang, one of the youngest Fushuangs I have, and compare it to this. It's very similar.
If you want to.
So this cake was $25 for, I think it's 200 grams or 100 grams or whatever it was. I'll put the image somewhere here. And it's white peony, Muran from Yunnan, Hulian Mountain, path of cha, high quality, processed by someone who's real cool, and all of that. So it says in the website. But in terms of white tea drinking, it's a little bit like off from Muran status, and I would be more like accepting of a Xiaomei status. Like less bud, more leafy.
Could you just tell me what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. So you guessed right, it was white tea. This was a quickie, and let's see if we can. It's getting astringent. I don't know if your tongue is getting dry, but mine is.
Yeah. So what company?
Path of Cha. It's good tea. They sent me other teas, they were okay, they were pretty good. Full mouth type of serving right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to argue that it's not a Bai Mudan. I mean, like that's what they're selling, that's what it is. But does it tastes so much like a moonlight or a Bai Mulan or something like that. I mean, uh, we've tried also other teas. So we know that when we drank Blue Willows, it was not Camellia sinensis, it was Camellia thaliensis, which has a different
Yeah, they
profile.
had different.
It was from the beginning very sweet and floral and all that, so very easy for people to drink that don't know much. And then what was China tea was more complex, more like uh, kind of like had that shank, uh, puar
It had
from
the
puar
shang
area
with the
type of tree.
acquired, not acquired, the learned taste of a shang.
Yeah. Well, so I think that in the puar area in Yunnan, the trees that are used for puar are more like a hybrid of asamica. They have bigger leaves and stuff, so they have that profile. And in the case of this one, you'll probably be because of what they're talking about. They're not saying that these are wild, Italiensis is actually a probably a Asamica, puar kind of thing. But hey, that's basically the profile. So 4 steeps,
I think it's
it's
fine.
all right.
I think it's a fifth steep.
You think so? It's all right. It's an all right tea. It's not like whoa, a crazy thing, that I'll be like buying more of it. Um, but I want to try more of the teas in the future. This one, will I buy it again? Nah, you know, I wouldn't. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad tea. It's a good tea. I will definitely drink it again. But I have other priorities because I have a limited budget. So that was it about it. I appreciate that you stopped by and had a cuppa with me.
Yeah, it's a good tea. I enjoyed this game of me not knowing.
What it was.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh,
let's have a very clear, very cold last. It has not changed the profile like, uh, for example, the West China tea did. West China tea when very different.
it is always fascinating to me to see teas that are as clear as just water
Hmm.
straight out of the faucet. You know,
And they have
just
a flavor.
and they have flavor. It's just water, but
Well, Dongding is pretty clear and it's just like intense. Thank you very much for tuning in.
of course, yes.